Hi, and welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel, and we're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Community Hotline talks with nonprofit organizations in the area who are trying to do good things in your community. And we're going to start off tonight talking with the Caring Ambassadors program, especially about their Lung Awareness Month. To start off, we'll talk with Lauren Sand, and you're the Executive Director. Thanks for being here, Lauren. Thanks for being here again.
Oh, thank you for having us
and
back.
Jessica Steinberg, you are on the Board of Directors for Caring Ambassadors. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, Lauren, you were here a few months back, and you talked about the hepatitis C testing and all that. So this is another facet of Caring Ambassadors then.
That's right. So we do have a lung cancer program. Our program actually started with a lung cancer program.
Oh, okay.
We had a gentleman out of Republic Financial, a small company in Colorado, had a gentleman who was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and he was told to go home and put his affairs in order, and he survived. And while he was surviving, the company restructured, and no one told him his job was eliminated.
Oh.
And so when he came back, you know, they said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, well, I want to help people, and I want to help people with lung cancer, and understand that, you know, clinical trials can help people stay alive, early detection can help people stay alive, and really educate people about all their options for treatments. His name was Ken Geddes. He was truly a great man. And so Republic continued to pay his salary when he started this, and started the first, it was called Lung Cancer Caring Ambassadors. And then we took it out of Republic and made it its own 501c3, and that was back in 1997. Oh. And Ken survived several more years, and when he passed away, he had over 750 phone buddies that he worked with on a yearly basis that he just talked with and checked in, and Jessica knows how important that touch is. And so we're so thrilled to have Jessica as our newest board member. Jessica is the embodiment of what we believe in Caring Ambassadors, which is really that you're not just about your disease, but that you're about who you are and as a person, and to really take your disease in charge, learn everything you can, and to really go at it with a positive attitude, because we believe that makes all the difference in the world.
I'm sure that it does.
It really does. And this is the perfect time to highlight this. It's Lung Cancer Awareness Month starting November 1st.
So Jessica, I take it that you have some personal experience then.
I am a stage 4 lung cancer patient. So I was diagnosed when I was 39. I was a never smoker, just like I think about 50% of the cases now in women are never smokers. And I was fit, I was healthy, I was a fitness instructor.
Really?
I ran marathons.
Oh my gosh.
I was very active and healthy. I never in a million years suspected I would have lung cancer. I was training for a marathon and had trouble going up hills, and I thought, I'm out of shape. I must need to train harder. I never thought, wow, that must be lung cancer. And so flash forward a little bit, and I had an unrelated injury that resulted in a chest x-ray. And they called from the urgent care the next day, the radiologist, and said, something funny showed up on your x-ray. You should have an emergency CT. So
scary.
A little bit. And also, like, I couldn't figure, I mean, what could it possibly be? Yeah. So I had the emergency CT, and they called me before I had even left the parking lot to say, you need an emergency biopsy.
Oh, wow.
So, and again, I really wasn't worried. I was so healthy. So I had the emergency biopsy, and Then, so that was on a Wednesday, and they called me on Friday and told me I had lung cancer. And it was just like, what?
Wow.
So at the time, it was thought to be a stage 1 localized tumor. And so the treatment for that was lobectomy, cardiothoracic surgery where they remove a lung lobe. So that was the idea, that I was going to go have this surgery. And for a lot of stage 1 patients that are diagnosed early, that is the end of it. But by the time I had my surgery, it was so much more extensive than they thought. And so they did go ahead and remove a lung lobe. And when they tested lymph nodes, they realized that it was more like a 3B.
Oh.
So stage 3B. And so that began all the treatment. So I started off on infusion chemotherapy, a standard line. I got sicker. The cancer metastasized to my bones. Then I went on a new line of chemotherapy, and the cancer metastasized to my brain.
Oh, Lord.
And so I had whole brain radiation. And at that point, I remember we were trying to figure out a plan. And I went to the oncologist. I'm waiting in the waiting room, and he comes in. He says, "I have the most incredible news." That is not something an oncologist says when you have stage 4 cancer.
No.
At all.
I imagine not.
No.
But he doesn't have a chance to say it very often either.
No. But his news was that I had genetic testing on my tissue biopsy, and it came back positive for the ALK mutation. And so in the world of lung cancer, that can be like winning the lottery, because it turns out it's the reason that my cancer had started. It was also the reason it wasn't responding to traditional chemotherapies.
So this was a genetic?
It's a genetic, not as in hereditary, but just a mutation of genes, and it happens in about 3 to 5% of the lung cancer population that is part of non-small cell lung cancer, and there's a targeted therapy. So I went on this targeted therapy, and it was like miraculous, and I felt so good on it, and it was oral, so no more infusions.
So you didn't have to sit around
it was
hours.
It was so life-changing. And I was on it about a year, and then unfortunately the cancer progressed to my brain again. So this particular drug, no drug yet, had the capability to cross the blood-brain barrier. So it was like, oh, you're out of options. We have nothing left for you here. And I did my homework. I've learned that it's very important to be your own best advocate. I think it's crucial. Oncologists are awesome, and they have patient loads in the hundreds, if not thousands. And you have you.
So take that on.
Yeah. And so I found a clinical trial that was enrolling, and I worked hard to get on that clinical trial. It's for a drug much like my previous targeted therapy, but does have the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier.
Wow.
And I got myself enrolled. I'm the first person in the area to be on it.
Really?
There's since been
More
others
added.
enrolled,
Yeah.
but I was the first. And I'm doing well.
Oh, that is a
I know.
wonderful story. That's a wonderful story. I wasn't sure where this was going to go.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, so there's a whole lot of lessons in here, isn't there? I mean, don't give up. Be your own best advocate.
And you know, the one thing that I never lost sight of is, and it's much easier than it used to be with all the changes in discoveries about lung cancer and the changes that they're finding with targeted therapies and all that. But what I learned is that it's so important to stay hopeful and to keep that spirit going. And part of it was, for me, is I have 2 young boys, and went through a divorce right at the same time that all this was happening. So there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I became very aware that they only knew what this was like as experienced by me.
Right.
And so it felt really important to me to share with them that you can be resilient in hard times, that it doesn't matter so much what happens to you as what you do with it. And
Your
so,
reaction and
yeah,
how you deal with something.
and that
exactly.
became very, very important to me. And I was very sick in the beginning, But our whole thing was we had to find the joy and humor in each day. There it is. That was hard.
I'm sure some days that'd be really difficult.
We did
Good
it.
for you.
And,
good for you. That's so amazing. You know,
and we're happy. I mean, we're doing good. We're happy. And it's opened up so many doors for me in terms of getting involved with amazing organizations and having the chance to share advocacy and awareness about this. It's such a stigmatized thing in our culture, and I think that really is part of the problem when it comes to the lack of funding that's been directed towards lung cancer, and just the recognition that it's not a fatal disease. It's changing. So
thank goodness.
people need to have hope, hang on, because answers are being given every day. So
that's very encouraging. It's very hopeful. So Lauren, how does Caring Ambassadors support lung cancer patients? Is it your role mostly education or what?
So we do both. We do a lot of education. We bring people in that want to do advocacy, people like Jessica, and help them, educate them. Jessica and Barb Ferguson, another lung cancer patient here, we worked very hard together, very closely together in the legislation last year to get a resolution passed. And Barb went and got another proclamation from the governor. So we work with advocates and lung cancer patients to raise awareness in their own states. The other thing we do is our education piece. So we have the Lung Cancer Choices book, and on the 1st of November, we're going to be introducing the second edition of the Lung Cancer Choices book. That is free for patients. It's written by doctors from all the different medical disciplines. It talks about nutrition. It talks about how to quit smoking successfully. It talks about how do you find your doctors, how do you build your team,
what
are all the different information that you need to know. And that's all free for patients. It's Lung Cancer Choices. And the other piece that we're really proud of is Caregiver Choices that we're going to be launching as well. It's a booklet directed to caregivers of
lung cancer patients?
Of lung cancer patients, but really anyone that's going through this. But
it's tough.
Jessica, it's difficult for lung cancer caregivers to know how to help a lung cancer patient sometimes. And so this is just tips and clues on what you can do to help your friends, help your family that are going through this, and what you can do for yourself too, because, I often say a dead advocate can't advocate. Well, it's the same thing with a caretaker. If you give so much, then you can't do it for yourself, so how do you care for yourself at the same time? So we're just trying to give those tips to people, and that's where we try to really support them and support people like Jessica in helping her find the information, and Barb. So I really, Barb couldn't be here with us tonight, but she was instrumental in getting this proclamation from our governor, so I think it would be really great for Jessica to read it.
And we don't have a lot of time, so see if you can get through it sort of quickly, but because I want to ask a couple more questions.
Okay, so thank you, Barb Ferguson. State of Oregon Proclamation, Office of the Governor. Whereas lung cancer is the leading cancer killer in the U.S. and Oregon, taking over 2,000 lives in Oregon this year, far outnumbering deaths due to breast, prostate, and colon cancers combined. And whereas approximately 15% of lung cancer cases occur in people who have never smoked, and over 40% in those who have formerly smoked, and whereas lung cancer has only a 15% survival rate, and funding for lung cancer research trails far behind other cancers, and whereas physicians and researchers working together with survivors, patients, and advocates are dedicated to decreasing deaths due to lung cancer and helping patients live longer and better lives through research, awareness, and advocacy. And whereas the state of Oregon demonstrates its commitment by making lung cancer a public health priority and urging our citizens to join the effort in raising awareness, reducing the stigma associated with the disease, and defeating lung cancer. And it's signed by Governor Kitzhaber.
Wonderful, that's great. We only have a couple minutes left, so tell me, if people want to get tested, and women especially, if they want to get tested, what do they need to do? Just go to their physician?
Go to their physicians, talk to them, have that conversation. Now, during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, there are going to be some programs around lung cancer awareness month.
I was like, what?
Well,
we're caught up in Pinktober. Sorry.
we support breast cancer too.
Yeah, so
But but just as it's a crucial catch, as we've all heard in every football weekend and every Sunday, which thank you NFL for pointing that out to women, it's also a crucial catch for women in lung cancer. And so there will be programs throughout the state where you can get testing done. OHSU has programs, all the cancer
Will the
centers.
information be on your website?
We'll put information on our website, and really just have that conversation with your doctor. If you have any symptoms, shortness of breath, anything, it can be radon. The other thing is get your house tested. Get your house
I have had
tested
my
for
house
radon.
tested for radon.
It's really important here, and that's the second leading cause of lung cancer. So let's just be aware, and if you have lungs, you're at risk for lung cancer.
Oh, yeah, well, and we do. So thank you very much. Do you want
you.
to say hello to your boys?
Oh, I'd love to. Hi, Nate. Hi, Pete.
I don't think I've ever done that before, but I figured, okay, they were supporting you, I'm sure. So
They're wonderful boys. They really are.
Thanks very much for being on here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching this segment of Community Hotline. You know, it's a very, very important topic, lung cancer awareness. So do get tested if you have any suspicions at all, and you know who to call if you need some support. There's the Caring Ambassadors. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more of Community Hotline.
Local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.